Hi guys, today we're going to be taking a look at some new gameplay footage recently released for Plants vs Zombies Universe. Now for those of you who are unaware, the current Plants vs Zombies Universe YouTube channel is actually being run by the wonderful It's P4P, Plants vs Zombies YouTuber and creator of the Altverse mod. P4P was kindly taking on the role of helping the PvZ Universe team to create an English version of the fan game as they are Chinese speaking, but as well as this, P4P has kind of been the main spokesperson for them. However, last week a community post on the channel mentioned that the primary author of PvZ Universe, a name that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, set up an individual channel where they plan to share videos from time to time. Over the past 8 days, 2 new gameplay videos have been posted, named PvZ Universe Sneak Peeks, that give us an update on how development is going. Now, I haven't got confirmation as to whether the footage we are seeing is a preview of the full game or the beta, which has been planned to release at the end of winter, which actually isn't that far away now. So there may be a number of things we have seen in the past in this, but I'm going to just do a full overview anyway. So the first thing you may notice is the footage is a bit laggy. From other mods, we recently learned that testing or development versions of these games can be slower and laggier than the full version. Also, you guys won't have noticed until now as I've been zooming in, but interestingly the gameplay doesn't appear to be completely widescreen. I'm not sure whether the ends have been cut off to prevent us from seeing zombies spawn, etc. or not though. Now the first of the 2 videos includes plants we have seen in previous gameplay previews, but the user interface around the sides seems more complete. The seed packets are placed in a PvZ1 layout, and you'll notice the seed packet reflects the world that the plant originates from. So for example, Bloomerang has an ancient Egypt background. If you hadn't seen, previously the team did post a number of seed packet images a couple of months ago. Next to the seed packets we have the shovel, which sadly we don't get to see in action, but it's nice to know it's going to be there. In the top right hand corner we have the pause and fast forward buttons. Again, we aren't shown these being used, but I like how the buttons are smaller and less distracting than in the official PvZ2. In the bottom right we have the usual wave progression bar, and like the buttons, this is smaller, taking up less space. You probably also noticed that by now the zombies have health bars, a feature from Plants vs Zombies Online I believe. This also goes for the slightly different plant food icon. Whilst I like the addition of the health bar, it makes it easier to know how much damage you're doing, but I worry that when there are loads of zombies on screen it could get messy, but we'll have to wait and see. So if we now switch over to the next video, sneak peek number 4, you are going to notice we have a lot more plants. Now before you panic, yes, there are more seed packets than there should be, and it does spill over to the side, but I'm 99% sure that's just for testing purposes. As you watch through all of this, we get examples of all the plants, all of which seem to be working perfectly. Only a couple of things I've noticed. I think Pea Shooter's projectile and the zombies do seem to look a bit smaller, but that's more of an observation than an opinion. And that's basically everything we can take from this gameplay. I would have liked to have seen some footage from a world we hadn't seen yet, and perhaps one of the new plants, but at the same time the PvZ Universe team clearly seem to be making some good progress, and I imagine they don't want to reveal too much too early. But overall, it's great to finally have some new gameplay, as we haven't had any for about 6 months. Anyway guys, that's about it for today's video. Let me know what you think of this in the comments below, but other than that, don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons, turn on notifications, and if you want to support the channel further, check out my Patreon page by clicking on screen now or through the link in the description. Okay, thanks guys, bye.